Welcome to the Making of Me podcast. Today we have an extraordinary guest, Chris McManus. Chris is a self-made millionaire at 26, a serial entrepreneur, an owner of multiple business, including landscaping, pole, and real estate. Chris, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So, Chris, what challenge shaped you into who you are today?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. There's been a lot of them. Um, Honestly, I think probably one of the biggest things has been I grew up racing professional motocross, and that's a individual sport, not a team sport. And you really learn that how well you're going to do on any given Sunday is based on how well I can perform and how well I can prepare. And that taught me life lessons that have helped me tremendously along the way, especially in the journey of entrepreneurship. And just at the end of the day, it all boils down to me. So if something messes up, it's my problem. If there's an issue, I've got to fix it. And that really a lot of accountability. And yeah, just I think that's probably the biggest thing. And just having that accountability and then having the willingness just to not quit, just keep going and figure out how to overcome these challenges.
Wow, that was really amazing. I think it's the fact that it was so direct that the fact that you actually take ownership of everything that goes on and out compared to pushing the blame on someone else. And that was really an amazing way of actually more like starting out. Yeah. So Chris, you actually started your landscaping company right out of our high school. What was the
Yes,
biggest lessons in those early years?
everything. At first I was just doing it to make a little cash, pay some bills. It kind of started to grow. I think one of the biggest, probably early lessons was don't hire your friends.
Mm,
You'll burn some friendships. I see a lot of young entrepreneurs doing that because hey, who doesn't want to go hang out with their buddies all day? It's not sustainable. Ruin a few relationships, not too many, but it's a dichotomy that typically doesn't work. And that was probably the biggest one in the early years. And then man, you got to be creative when you're starting out. You don't have a lot of capital. You don't have a lot of social proof. People don't know who you are. They don't know your company. Why should they hire you? So you really got to be creative on marketing, and you've really got to make sure your word is the standard. So if you tell them you're going to be there, you got to be there. If they call, you got to answer the phone. And just showing up and starting to build that foundation that, hey, this is a solid company, I'm going to refer them to my friends or my neighbors. I think that was really that's crucial all the time, but I think that's even more crucial in those early years.
amazing. When you said don't hire your friend, that got me thinking. I was listening to one particular show, and while they were narrating stories of a biography of a particular entrepreneur, and he was making reference of the fact that, yeah, don't hire anybody that you can't fire. So, and that actually by the questions being that you make reference of don't hire your friends. And I want to know from
Yeah.
your perspective, is it the fact that it's difficult to fire your friend, or from the perspective of you don't just want to ruin the relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me, certainly. And it kind of worked out. Most of them just kind of left on their own. So there wasn't too many occurrences, but there certainly has been some people that hurts your heart doesn't want to fire them. You don't want to cut them loose. We've had multiple people in my company over the last few years that they've been with me years and years and years. And for the health and sake of the business, I should have terminated them much earlier than I did. And just, I have in several instances let my heart kind of or my emotions get in the way of being a business owner. And that's something we've really ran into a lot in the last 24 months. And it's something I've gotten a lot better at. It's at the end of the day, the business is my baby. The business is what supports me. It supports my family, and it supports a lot of other families. So I have to have the clarity to basically think outside of my emotions and just think from a pure dollars and cents. And you got to be able to cut those people loose.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So, Chris, becoming a millionaire in 26 is incredible. What mindset shift will help you get there?
Abundance mindset, I think. An abundance mindset, knowing that there's money out there. I just got to figure out how to go get it. The scarcity mindset will put you in a dark, or at least for me, it'll put you in a dark place. And you won't allow your brain to grow and see these opportunities and allow your subconscious to work on these opportunities if you're just in that scarcity mindset all the time. So I think that was a big part of it. And just another one that I've shared this with a few people, I just kind of picked this one up recently. You can't go out there if you're trying to sell a product or sell a service, you can't shop with your own wallet. Meaning you can't go out there and say, hey, I wouldn't pay this much for this service, so these people aren't going to. That service has a lot more value to those people than you realize. And you've really got to make sure that you believe in that and you can sell it to them And again, and to me, that just goes back to having an abundance mindset.
Amazing. So scaling a landscaping company into multiple or seven figure must have been a challenge. What were some of those obstacles you didn't expect?
Man, there's some every day. I think probably one of the biggest ones that took me longer to learn than I would have liked to admit is getting the right management teams in place. That's something that we really worked on over the last 12 months, and kind of just getting more people to help on the back end and to help us with sales and estimating, scheduling, running the crews, stuff like that. That was stuff that, selfishly, I kind of prided myself on being able to do all of it. And while, yes, technically I was doing all of it, I wasn't doing any of it well, and it was starting to catch up to us. So I think that's one thing is as people scale and grow, you don't want to have such a high overhead budget that you're not profitable, but you also got to look at it and know, hey, I can't do all this by myself on the management side of things. And you got to be willing to hire and train those people sooner than later, preferably.
Amazing. So looking back, what is one thing you wish you could tell your younger self about entrepreneurship?
Oh man, can I go back even a little bit further and say, hey, in 2008, Chris, go buy, $500 worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. And I don't think I'd want to go tell my younger self that, because I wouldn't want to, for me, and this may not affect everybody, but for me, I think I did not do a whole lot of networking. I didn't do much relationship building in those early years, and that really could have fast tracked me. So that's a huge one. Don't be a pest to some of these companies or individuals or
Yeah.
businesses that are, bigger than you, but I promise you, anybody that's doing better than me, I've never had an issue. I can pick up a phone and call them if I've got a question or if I've got an issue, or even
Hmm.
if I just want to pick their brain. Most of those guys, myself included, man, I love it. I'd love when somebody calls me and I have even just a small chance to just
Yeah.
give them a hand. And then I think number two, and I did start this on early, but I wish I would have started even earlier, is, man, pick up some books and read. Or, like for me personally, it's Audible. I listen to them. I typically listen to about 20 books a year or so. Got well over 100 books in my Audible library. And man, that's huge. I mean, that is huge. There's so much knowledge out there from just these titans of businesses. My gosh, it's $15 a month for Audible, and you can
Yeah.
3 books a month, any book you want. So that's huge. That's huge. I can't encourage that enough for people. Just get in there and read, man. That knowledge is out there.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Chris. So, Chris, what is a daily or routine that keep you focused and motivated?
I don't know if I have one, to be honest. I mean, I do. Sorry about that. I think probably the biggest thing for me is on a day-to-day basis is knowing the end goal. I know where I want to go, and
Hmm.
it's what can I do today to get me there or help get me there. And that's different for everybody, but took me a few years to kind of have that clear direction. And now it's like, okay, whatever I do today is going to directly affect how fast I get to where I want to go.
Yeah.
So let's make
Yeah.
today count, and let's make sure we're doing the right things.
Yeah. Amazing. Live today count and make sure you're doing the right thing. Yeah. Amazing. Thanks for sharing. So, entrepreneurship is tough. What is something you do to relax and recharge you?
So I had a couple of vices. Um, I've got a little boy at home. He's about a year old. So just getting to go home and see the family, that's huge. And then really probably the couple of the biggest things is I still love to ride motorcycles. I try to do that about once a week. That's my light switch that turns my
Yeah.
brain off. That lets me just chill out. And then in the summer months here in the States in North Carolina, I'm going to be on my boat every weekend. I'm going to be on the lake. I'm going to have maybe a whiskey in my hand, and I want to be on the lake.
Amazing. Amazing. Just doing it just to forget about the routine and the pressure that comes with entrepreneurship. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yes.
So, Chris, what advice would you give to listeners who are trying to build their first business or scale an existing one?
Find some mentors. Find somebody in your industry. I would put a little word of caution out there. There's a lot of these online businesses now, or online business coaches, I should say, with maybe some air quotes. There's some really good ones out there. There's also, I think, probably some scam artists out there. So if you're gonna go the online route, I've done it myself. Just do your homework beforehand. But if there's any possible way you can find, somebody within an hour or two of where your business is located that has been there, done that, grown the business, maybe go a little bit outside of your service area. So you're not going straight to your competition and asking for help. So maybe, drive or fly a little bit away and just go meet these people, talk to these people. I feel like 99% of them would be more than willing to help or have a sit down over lunch or dinner. And that's just a phenomenal resource that I think a lot of people are too afraid to reach out to. They don't want to be a bother. I promise you, that's just, I've never had that be the case in my personal experience. I've got a list of 10 or 15 people on my phone right now that are doing much more than me and have a much higher net worth. And I can pick up the phone and call any of them and talk to them for 30 minutes. And that is so crucial on just fast tracking anybody's business success, I think, is finding those good mentors.
Amazing. Finding mentors and leaning on them, being that it can be so demanding sometimes. Seeing the future is very, very difficult when you're just starting out, and having to lean on those who has gone ahead of you. Like, just a lovely way of seeing and gaining more perspective, especially if they are doing much bigger than you are currently doing. That was really amazing to actually. Yeah, thank you. So, Chris, where do you see yourself and business in the next 5 to 10 years? And what is the visions that drive you?
So the main vision for me is I want to grow our business to a $25 million valuation. What that number means to me is that is the number that if I wanted to sell my company, that would give me financial freedom for the rest of my life. And it would also allow me to accomplish some of my personal and more selfish goals, just as far as with some physical things that I've always wanted. That's a big driver for me. And also that dollar amount, I think, would let me allow me to live the lifestyle that I think I want, but it also is going to allow me the freedom to be able to just help people.
Yeah,
Money is not the answer to everybody's problems, but having the ability to write a check and solve a problem is huge.
yeah,
And that's
that's true.
something, people see money as evil, I think, sometimes. And it certainly can be used in an evil way. But, if you've got somebody that's in a really tough spot and you can write a check and solve that problem for them, man, that'll change somebody's world.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really amazing, especially when you said that. And I think I was having a discussion with a guest of mine the other day, and we are trying to make reference to it that, yeah, money actually enhance who you are. It speaks volumes if you have a good heart, a good character towards the end. When you have the money, you can definitely use to solve a whole lot of problems. Whereas when your attitude is bad and you look forward to a whole lot of things that ought not to, it enhances it to make you speak louder in that particular aspect. But at the end of it, I think money is a very big leverage in that, yeah, it actually solve a whole lot of money problem compared to not having it. And that's more like really, really big win compared to if you don't have it at all.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I totally agree. I really, it enhances, it doesn't change you. It enhances who you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah,
So if you've
thank
got
you.
a good character and a good heart, I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, so true. So, Chris, how can our audience reach out to you? Especially just make reference of mentors and just hearing you. Some of my audience, I might like to reach out to Chris just to hear him more, or more like wants to listen more to his content or connect with you. How can they reach out to you, and where's the best platform?
So best platform for me is probably just Instagram. That's going to be Chris McManus 151. Just shoot me a DM. Happy to help. I'll be the first to say I'm horrible with content creation, but that is something that we're striving to do a lot better at this year. Um, for the business stuff, it's, there's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and those are all just GC Landscaping Inc. But to reach out to me, that personal Instagram, that's at Chris McManus 151. Shoot me a DM. I mean, happy to help somebody if I can. Would love it.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Yeah, Chris, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today. Your stories of resilience, hustle, and growth is truly inspiring. Listener could actually reach out to Chris if you want to, especially for his business at GC Landscaping Inc.com. Remember, the making of you come from perseverance, learning through challenge, and creating your own path. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch up in the next episode. Once again, it's really a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, man, happy to be here. Thank you, and hope to do it again one day.